Probably like one of the biggest buzzwords in the modern day is the term cancel culture. Oh my God, they're gonna cancel him. Oh my God, y'all always trying to cancel everybody. Cancel this, cancel that. Everybody acts like getting canceled is some kind of boogeyman that's waiting in the corner, itching to pounce on anybody with the slightest bit of clout. And don't get me wrong, it is starting to feel like there's a certain section of chronically online people waiting to poke at anything they can get their hands on to be outraged about. I'm gonna keep it a buck though. The whole cancel culture thing is like wildly exaggerated, and the more time passes, the more obvious it becomes. Everybody acts like these famous people are getting thrown in canceled concentration camps and being punished or losing their entire careers and being forced to work at canceled Shake Shack because of the cancel culture wave. But let's be real, how many artists have actually been canceled for real? At a certain level of fame, nobody really gives a shit, and you can basically get away with anything. And this is definitely the most common in the music section of celebrities. Actors get a lot less leeway, I feel like, from the general public, just because movies aren't normally a part of everyday life the way music is. It's like 10 times harder to say, I'm going to stop listening to this artist, than it is to say, I'm just not going to go see this movie. It's also because getting blackballed in the movie industry is easier, too, because it's a select group of people high up that could just choose to not have you in any movie and have you doing fucking Kleenex commercials and Honda ads to pay the bills. Music relies on the fans, and convincing millions and millions of people to stop listening to a person, especially when the majority of them aren't chronically online and don't even know what the artist did to make the internet mad, much harder. How many times have we seen situations where a big musical artist does or says something kinda crazy and everybody is saying it's gonna be the end of their career or they're gonna fall off, then boom, within a month, nobody cares. There's also the fact that a lot of people just don't give a fuck in the first place. You would have to do something truly despicable to be actually canceled, like actually canceled by the general public. And even then, that's not always the case. R. Kelly has basically been confirmed to do all the shit he did, and some of them old heads still refuse to let go of his music. In my opinion, there's nothing wrong with separating art from the artist, but that's kind of my entire point. If you're actually canceling someone, you're not listening to their music or continuing to support them in any way at all. So a lot of people just aren't really getting canceled, let's be for real. Dr. Dre has at least 3 separate women that say he violently abused them. He allegedly gave one of his exes, I forgot which one, but he gave him a black eye and cracked her ribs. He beat up the host of a hip-hop show because he didn't like a segment about him. He beat up his ex-wife. He's not a good dude, bruh. Yet he got honored at the Grammys just last year. The majority of the time, nobody's actually getting canceled. People just talk about it for like a week and then poof, it's gone. It always confuses me when people act like cancel culture is gonna end society and entertainment as we know it. Y'all remember the whole Astro World thing with Travis Scott? How he basically shrugged off the fact that people were literally dying in the crowd and everybody was mad at him for essentially causing the death to like 10 people, multiple of whom were kids. Yeah, nobody gave a shit after like a month. His apology video literally became a meme, which is understandable because it was dumb as shit. Nigga looked constipated. He pushed the Utopia release back a little bit and then dropped it in 2023, and it sold 500K first week and was platinum in a month. Chris Brown's name is literally synonymous with beating Rihanna till she looked like a fucking mutant. And sure, his career took a little hit, but he still had like 3 #1 albums since then. There's plenty of people that don't like him, but the number of people that just don't care about the shit he did outweighs them. Camila Cabello, I think that's how you say her name. I don't know if it's Camilo Cabello, whatever. Bro, they looked at her Tumblr, I think it was, and she literally had like entire pages of posts, and she was so violently racist. Like, bro, you wouldn't even believe just half the shit she was posting. She literally had to take classes to unlearn racism. And she's still famous, still has her career, and still somewhat successful. It's really not, like, I swear to God, it's really not as bad as people make it out to be with the whole cancel culture thing. I feel like Daniel Caesar is one of the only recent examples of an artist that we can say came close to actually being canceled. But the only reason that happened is because Caesar hadn't reached the level of fame yet that truly makes you invincible. He made dumbass comments about black people, and as he was on the rise, his ascension was quickly cut off. His only mistake was saying stupid shit too early to get a pass. The Baby might also count as someone recent who was successfully canceled, but I don't know. I feel like he fell off because his music just fucking sucked. Kanye has really pushed the limits of this shit with years and years of saying and doing some of the most outlandish shit you can think of, and even he hasn't been fully exiled. Don't get me wrong, an alarming amount of people hate him, and he got dropped by Adidas, and there's been an attempt to blackball him, but he's still around. Still sold over 100K first week with Vultures 2, still gets plenty of big features, and still has his massive amount of core fans. Our attention spans aren't long enough anymore for people to be successfully canceled, and that's a side effect of social media just throwing waves and waves of new shitty things on a daily basis. We've been desensitized. Of course, I'm not gonna care about Mr. Nazi Man saying Hitler's the GOAT, because Mr. White Supremacist over there just said black people are monkeys. But wait, I don't care about that anymore either, because Mrs. New Pop Artist over there just said 4 slurs and spit on a homeless minority. Every week is something new, so it's too hard for a lot of people to consistently care. That's just the reality of the situation. How do I feel about it? Honestly, I've never been a fan of cancel culture because while it started out as holding people accountable, it just turned into nitpicking and a hive mind of people trying to find any reason to attack people they don't like. I feel like some people don't actually care about these celebrities growing as humans. They just want to be angry at something, because if they actually did care, there'd be a lot more focus on the evolution of their mindsets and behaviors instead of a focus on just banishing them from everything. There's definitely certain things that don't really deserve redemption too, by the way, and things that should definitely land you in a cell, but bruh, half of the whole cancel culture wave was old tweets and trivial things. On the other hand, I also feel like it doesn't make sense to blow cancel culture out of proportion when 90% of the people that got quote-unquote canceled are still thriving and half the world forgets what they did in the first place. Moral of the story is, honestly, it's really just not that deep.